Welcome to Your Dollars Making Sense, a podcast hosted by investor and realtor Richard Neese. Your Dollars Making Sense, where financial intelligence is the key to your financial freedom.
Hey everybody, Richard Neese here. Welcome to Your Dollars Making Sense. I'm your host, and we believe that financial intelligence is the key to financial freedom. That's why we started this show. I appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about what I've been teasing for a while. What was my biggest investment? What was my greatest investment? I've had several folks ask me that. Hey man, I've got some money. I've got $500. I've got $10,000. What do I need to do with it? What's going to make me the most money? Well, I think the answer that I give you is going to surprise you a little bit. I'm going to get to it a little bit further in the show. But if this is the first time you've tuned in to Your Dollars Making Sense, like I said, we believe that financial intelligence is the key to financial freedom. We want to make sure that you have the knowledge, the baseline to start your investing career. We've been doing, I think we've got 4 shows under our belt now. This is kind of a spinoff, I'd say, of the Real Estate Rundown. If you don't know me, like I said, I'm a real estate broker here in North Alabama, based out of Coleman. Been doing it for just past the 4-year mark, actually. I've been blessed to have some great clients, lots of folks that have supported me throughout the process. I went from deputy to real estate agent, and then it's really about helping good people get to a better place. We did that at the sheriff's office. I did that in my military career. I enjoy providing that coaching, that information, that bridge that gap so you can get to a better place. Sometimes that's with a residential home. Sometimes that's investing. So we decided we were going to do an investing show, but not just about real estate investing. We've had some great guests come on. We've had Don Warnke come on to talk about the Wise Up program, which is a budgeting program for high school students. They teach you about how to use money, how to make sure you pay yourself, how to start laying those bricks on the foundation or pouring that footer so that you know this is how money works. This is how I get to my financial future, my financial freedom. This is how I get to retirement. Whatever that looks like for you, you've got to start with the budget side. The very first step on the budget side is knowing where you're going. What sort of funds do we need to get to retirement? Is retirement having a tiny home out in the middle of the forest? No utilities, no liabilities, no nothing. You're just living out there on your own. It's going to take a lot less to do that than it would if your plan for retirement is having a beach house and a lake house and a mountain house and having 6 figures coming in. So they're very different approaches that you have to take in order to get to that spot. And that's why we're doing Your Dollars Making Sense. We've also talked about 401ks and different planning strategies to make sure that your money is making the most money for you. And we've talked a little bit about real estate too. I kind of gave a brief overview of the residential side, of flipping, of some different strategies that folks use in order to achieve that financial freedom. We talked about buying a single-family home, staying in it for 2 years, remodeling it, selling it. It's a great way to get tax-free money if you don't mind moving. If you got a large family, that may not be the best strategy for you. We've talked about commercial properties, apartments, ways that you can use funding, forced appreciation, giving you a baseline for your financial intelligence. And that's the biggest thing. We really want to help as many people as we can. We've had some good guests come on, but we're continuing to grow that. And like I said, the folks keep coming back to me and asking me, what's the best investment to make? Well, that's different for everybody. It's different strategies. It's different long-term goals. But I will say this, the best investment you can ever make is in yourself. Yeah, everybody says that, self-development, all that stuff. I can read books and I can watch seminars, but it's honestly the truth. The best thing you can do is ready yourself with weapons for financial freedom. It's to better yourself. If you have a basketball player out there, what is he doing on a daily basis if he's trying to get to a professional level? He's practicing. He's learning new skills. He's investing time to get a better output, a better result during game time, during the tryouts, whatever it is. You've got to invest in yourself in other ways too. If you've got somebody that's overweight or out of shape or just not in a healthy state, you invest time in the gym, in running, in exercising. That's to better you. That's to help that long-term, that longevity so that you're going to be around. It's the same thing with money. You have to invest in yourself. You have to know more by learning. There's a book that I always harp on. Robert Kiyosaki wrote, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's kind of a controversial book in some ways because it shakes the foundation of what we're taught about money. Most of the time people say, well, the premise is that, buying a home is the best thing you can ever do, the best investment you can ever make. That's not always the case. For some people, it is the best way. It's the best vehicle to save money. It's the best vehicle to have an ability to pull out money through equity lines. It establishes yourself in the community. But if you look at dollars and cents, it may not be the best thing for you. You may want to rent a place and save as much money as you can and not have to have the maintenance side. Well, Kiyosaki talks about that, and he challenges your beliefs or your indoctrination is what I would call it. He challenges all the things that you've been taught, not in a negative way, but to say, hey, there may be another option for you. Money is a different animal in some ways, mainly because we're not taught about it much. We're taught one thing, and it's a 9 to 5, and we're really living in an era of entrepreneurship. There's tons of people starting businesses. Does a 9 to 5, 8-hour workday? What's more valuable? Somebody that accomplishes the same amount of work in that 9 to 5, or somebody that's there from 9 to 5? Those are hard questions to ask yourself. They're hard questions to talk to about your employees. But at the end of the day, if you don't ask these questions, you're not being open-minded, and maybe you're missing out on $1 million. Maybe you're missing out on 20 hours a week that you could be playing golf, or 20 hours a week you'd be spending with your kids, or whatever that is. You're missing out on it because you're not being true to yourself and not really understanding how all of it works. You don't have to agree with it, but at least look at it. A lot of people will tell me that, we'll get back into sports, that Michael Jordan's the best basketball player ever. LeBron James, well, I don't have to agree with any of them, but look at the stats. See how they actually match up and then compare. You can still have your own opinion on it. You're going to anyways. But at least evaluate dollar for dollar what you're trying to do. You've got to have that long-term plan, and that's why we're here. I believe that real estate investing is one of the strongest and fastest ways to become a millionaire. But it's not the only way. I have a lot of personal experience where I jumped into other fields and I wasn't ready and I lost money. Does that mean they're not valuable? Absolutely not. There are people that work in day trading. There are people that are on the real estate side. There are people that build. There are people that literally start tech companies. Some of them fail. A lot of them fail. Some of them succeed. Why is that? Those people were prepared. They really evaluated where they were and understood that constant growth is the key to being successful. Constant growth is the key to being successful. Constant growth includes webinars. It includes seminars. It includes books. It includes all sorts of different things that we're going to discuss today. And we really want to break it down in a way to show you what the truly best investment is, and that's investing in yourself. We got some great people that love to invest with us, that support our cause, and that's the folks over at Jacob Title. Jamie Blanton, she does a lot of our real estate closings. They do a great job. They're out of Huntsville, but they work Coleman, Hartselle, Arab. They travel. They really believe in helping good people get to a better place, and we appreciate all that they do. And it's not just the real estate closings that they do, wills. They do all the stuff that an attorney would do. So make sure you guys reach out. If you want their contact information, you always give us a call, 256-708-1511. They want to help you get to a better place. That's what they're there for. And we appreciate their support of Your Dollars Making Sense. On the other side, we're going to be talking about, we're really going to be telling a few stories. I'm going to be telling you some of my big fails and how that led me to be successful in real estate. And it's different for everybody. But at the end of the day, you've got to go through some of those failures in order to reach success. So make sure you tune back in for the second segment of Your Dollars Making Sense. We believe that financial intelligence is the key to financial freedom. Hey everybody, Richard Neese here. Welcome back to Your Dollars Making Sense, where we believe that financial intelligence is the key to financial freedom. We appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. We want to thank all of our supporters, Jacob Title, Cotton Home Inspections, all those folks that are continually helping us help more people get to a better place. That's what we believe in. If you guys don't know me, my name is Richard Neese. I'm a local real estate broker in North Alabama. We've got residential properties that I sell. We sell multifamily, commercial properties, anything you can imagine. Lake houses, we'll sell them. We'll help you with them. But the big thing is I keep getting I'd say probably once every week or so, I have somebody that calls me. I had somebody text me, a young man, the other day. I think it was Wednesday. He said, "Hey, Richard, my mom's so-and-so. I'm starting out. I don't know if I want to do college. I don't know if I want to do this or that, but I do want to pick your brain on real estate to see how I can get involved at a low level to begin with and grow." That's incredible to me. I mean, having somebody, and I've had folks from 18 to 60 years old call me and ask me about getting into real estate, learning about investments, and it's humbling and it's flattering at the same time. I'm proud to be in the position we're at. We've got a lot of people that are helping us get to this place. Lots of folks that are supporting us, whether that's the real estate sales or praying for us or whatever the case might be. We appreciate each and every one of those folks for doing it. But for folks to come to me to ask me about this stuff, it just makes me smile because I know that we're doing the right things. We're making it to where the knowledge is accessible so that anybody can do it. Anybody can invest in real estate. Anybody can invest in general, but not everybody should. And that's the truth. The first thing you have to do is have a plan. I'm going to keep saying it and keep saying it, keep saying it. You got to have a plan on where you want to go. If you don't know the final destination, there's no sense in getting out. There's no sense in walking the trail or running the race because you don't know where you're going. You're just going to be running aimlessly. You never know what you're going to get into. You have to have a clear focus on, we want to retire by the time we're 40. We want our kids to go to whatever school. We want this or that. You've got to have a goal or you're never going to reach that. I'll tell you, I had a goal. We want to own 83 investment properties, 83 doors by the time I'm 35. That was my goal. I feel like we'll probably hit that and probably hit it pretty early. And the goals change. It's always a moving goalpost, and that's okay, but you've got to have something to start with or you're never going to take action. I started real estate 4 years ago. Well, let's see, 4 years ago, Wednesday is when it was. So if you'll be listening on Saturday morning, last Wednesday, I've been in 4 years. I was working as a deputy sheriff, and I realized a couple things. The first thing was that 3 kids are expensive. We're about to have our 3rd child, and a deputy's salary couldn't support it. I would have to take a second job. That's real common in moonlighting and law enforcement guys. So they ended up working a second job, and I said, should I take a second job making $10 to $12 an hour, or should I increase the value, increase my knowledge, help more people? And so I decided to get into real estate. I said, this is something I can do. There's more profit when you actually sell a home, and I can build my skills. I'm already dealing with people on a daily basis by solving problems. We did it 4 years ago, and here I am today. I'm very blessed. Like I said, I've got lots of folks helping me out. We're blessed to be able to house 24 people on a monthly basis with 24 rental properties. We've got storage units. We've been trying to grow this out, and I love when folks call me and ask me to go to lunch or breakfast, and let's sit down and talk about it. They don't always get what they want. Sometimes they want to hear, oh, this is easy. Sometimes they want to hear this is way too hard. I just tell them the truth. You can get into real estate. The biggest thing that's stopping you is you. Now, what capacity that is, that changes. Some folks may be driving for dollars, out looking for deals. They call an investor. That investor cuts them in on the deal. And then at that point, they get a little money or they get a equity or however you work that out. The other side is they may want to get into real estate sales. They may want to be a real estate agent or realtor. I mean, there's so many ways to get into real estate. But I'll tell you how I got here. Like I said, we needed more money. I mean, that's what it came down to. I needed to help support my family more than I was at the time. But we had already been through several things that were jumps. We leaped on a few things. One thing was day trading. Day trading, if you're not familiar, is buying and selling stocks in rapid succession in large quantities. So you may do 10, 20, 50, 100 trades a day and making small portions on each trade. With the volatility of the stock market, you never know when that's going to happen. So really, I was gambling. And the reason I was gambling, and if there's day traders out there listening, they'll understand. They may be aggravated to begin with. I was gambling because I had no idea what I was doing. I thought all I need is a few blips. We live in an area that doesn't have a super high cost of living. A few blips. It was me and my wife, and we had one child, about to have one child. I can make enough money from home, still have the time, and I was grossly wrong. I mean, I was so wrong in that because what ended up happening was I wasn't getting the immediate payoff. I didn't do my homework. I didn't increase my value and my knowledge And I got back to my rack and we lost somewhere around $15,000. That's a lot of money. A lot of money for everybody, but for a guy that just came back to my rack, didn't have a day job, that was my plan. I was going to make it big then. And it didn't work. But that was a valuable learning experience. That was $15,000 of experience. You can't get that from a college. I can promise you that. I learned a lot of things about myself. I learned about emotions. I learned how excited you can get about making money and how sad you can get about losing it and how quickly all that can happen. That wasn't a great investing strategy for me. I don't recommend that as a whole, but there are people that make a lot of money day trading out there. I've lost money on spec houses before. What's a spec house? It's one of those houses that the builder builds and then sells. You don't already have a customer in place. What happens? Hey, I know real estate. I know how markets sell, but I didn't know myself and I didn't know how people interact as well as I thought. That was one of my first partnerships. We had some hiccups come along. We lost money. Somebody's got a great house for a great price right now. But at the end of the day, that was another learning experience. There's so many of these things that people see if it was in their life or anybody else, and they may say, man, I would have stopped after that. I would have went back and I'd have got a job. I'd have done this or that. That wasn't my plan. My plan was I'm going to figure this out because I'm going to grow more. I learned more about investing. I learned that day trading wasn't my thing, so I needed to find something that was tangible that couldn't move as fast so I could build value, add value in other ways. That's all about self-improvement. The greatest investment that I've ever made was in myself. Now, sometimes those investments involve deals that went bad, that I said, I'm going to try this because I believe I can make it work. That's still an investment in yourself. So we're coming up against the third break. We appreciate each and every one of you guys for tuning in. We also want to thank Chris Cotton with Cotton Home Inspections. Cotton Home Inspections, they do most of my home inspections personally. They do all of them, and then most of my customers work with them as well. They're great folks. They've got the Homes for Heroes program. Chris is one of those guys that you can't help but like him. He's a great person. Does a great job. Used to be a detective, actually an investigator with the sheriff's office down in Jefferson County. He has an eye for detail, and he makes sure that he shows you what you need to look at and lets you make the assessment based off of what he's seen. Now, he's going to give you his professional opinion on things. He's going to tell you what he thinks you might need to do to fix it and things like that. And he's going to frame it in a way that lets you decide, is this the right home for me? Because some folks may be comfortable with, just doing a few repairs. That's no big deal. Or they may not want to do anything. Chris does a great job with Cotton Home Inspection. You can always give them a call. I've got their contact information. I don't have it right in front of me, but just give me a call at 256-708-1511. He'll help you get to a better place. Chris is a great guy. I love working with him. So you guys make sure you give him a shout. On the other side, we're going to talk about self-improvement. What does that mean? Make sure you guys tune in. Hey everybody, Richard Neese here. Welcome back to the third segment of Your Dollars Making Sense. We believe financial intelligence is the key to financial freedom, and we also believe in helping good people get to a better place. I'm your host, Richard Neese, like I said, local real estate broker. If you haven't heard the show before, we want to give you a foundation to build off of. We want to teach you the things or bring experts on to teach you about investing in general. We get calls daily, weekly, monthly. Hey, how do I invest? What's the best step? How do I do this? How do I do that? Well, let's just put it out to everybody because it's just like in class. If one person raised their hand, 5 people had the same question. They were just afraid to ask. So we're going to do it for you. Thank you so much for tuning in. What is the best investment I've ever made? Well, it wasn't the 10-unit complex that doubled in value in 6 months. It wasn't the storage units that were my first jump that continually give me cash flow on a monthly basis. It wasn't the deal where I bought and sold something in a day, literally a day in between, and made a few $1,000s. It wasn't any of those. The best investment I ever made was an investment in myself. So I've done this in several different ways. When I was working at the sheriff's office, riding around, everybody else is listening to the radio. I'm listening to self-improvement tapes. I'm listening to find out how I can better myself, how I can be a better deputy, how I can be a better father, how I can be a better person in general. That's what I was doing. Why? Because that's the best investment you can ever make. So I made several investments over my lifetime, I guess you'd say, in myself. One of them was an investment in a coaching program. Self-improvement can come in many, many different ways. Books. Read every book you can. I'm not saying you got to read it cover to cover, but read it. If you have something, I think it was Les Brown that said, if you read a book every week, in 2 to 3 years, you'll be an expert on whatever you're reading about. If you consistently read, you've got to read and absorb and learn. It's going to broaden your horizons. You're going to want to talk to people that are in that field, that arena, whatever it is. You can be an expert, but you can't be an expert with no effort. You have to put the time in. There's no, I think they said success is due. I forget the quote now. I've already messed it up. But anyways, rent's due every day. Basically, you've got to do work every day to improve your skill set, or they're going to diminish. That's how it works. You can't buy success. It's rented, and rent's due every day. There we go. I finally figured it out. I know JR's in there laughing at me because I jacked up that quote. So you got to invest in yourself. Books, coaching, courses, college. I mean, that's a great avenue. Most folks think that I'm anti-college. I'm not. I've got a bachelor's degree. I'm looking at getting a master's degree in the next little while. Why? Because there's valuable lessons that you can learn from other people. You don't have to learn it yourself. You don't have to do everything the hard way. Listen, work study. I'll tell you one thing that just I love to see it, and then I hate it when people start complaining about it, is the work study, the apprenticeship program, shadowing. If I could shadow Nick Saban right now for free, or I would pay him to do it, to just shadow him and see what he does on a daily basis. Why? Because his track record is proven, and the things that I would pick up in the 6 months, year, week that I followed him, what would happen? I would be more successful. That you've got to model your success after others, see what they're doing, because you don't have to figure it out all by yourself. There's some things you can, but that's the hardest way to do it. So the self-improvement is key. So I invested in a coaching program, and it wasn't the coaching program itself alone that helped me so much. There were great ideas, there were great connections, but it was a commitment to myself that I'm literally putting dollars, food that could go in my family's mouth. I'm putting, toys. There's so many folks out there that are driving a brand new truck, or they're doing this. I'm taking the money that it would cost for that to get in front of people that are doing it at a higher level than I am, that know something I don't. How do I know that? Because they're adding more value. That's exactly what's happening. So read every book you can, get into a coaching program, get into a mentor program, talk to a mentor, there's so many people that are doing it in the local community, and you're not talking to them. You're not reaching out to them. Most of them would gladly help you. They gladly do a hand up instead of a handout. That's what it comes down to. Go to college, learn about what you want to do. The world of academia has lots of benefits. I'm a fan of real world, but there's lots of benefits in the local community colleges, the University of Alabama, Auburn. There's value there, and you can attain that. Don't do it the hard way. Find somebody that knows what you're wanting to know. It just makes sense. The apprenticeship programs, the shadowing, that just makes sense too. Get around those folks. If you're a young college student or high school student, I see it every day up here at WKUL. You have interns come in. They follow, they learn, they study. Yes, they do the jobs that nobody wants to do to begin with. That's part of it. That's the trade-off. You're getting knowledge. You're getting wisdom. That's the trade-off. You've got to do some of that stuff to free up your mentor's time, or pay them. That's your choice. Please, please, please. Self-improvement is key. You've got to invest in yourself. Listening today, you're investing in yourself, and I appreciate it so much. Financial intelligence is the key to financial freedom. We want to give you that. I know that today we didn't get into the numbers like we normally do, but it's key. You've got to continually self-improve. Whatever aspect that's in, try and grow yourself. Because when you're stagnant, you're never going to grow. You're going to be losing. Everybody else is going to be getting out in front of you. That's not what you want. Grow as a person. Grow as a business person. Grow in general. That's what we're made for, is to reach our potential, achieve our potential. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you again to our sponsors, Jacob Title and Cotton Home Inspections. We appreciate you guys so much. If you're interested in being a part of the show, you can always give me a call at 256-708-1511. If you want to be a sponsor, if you want to come on the show and talk about your expertise, I'd be glad to talk to you and see how we can work that in. We want to help good people get to a better place. That's what we're trying to do on a daily basis. I hope you guys have a great weekend. If you need anything, you can always give me a call. Y'all have a good weekend.
Thanks again for listening to Your Dollars Making Sense. Remember, financial intelligence is the key to your financial freedom.